Hi, this is Rachel at Tarot Dreams, and I believe that there are signs and synchronicities in our daily lives that are meant to provide us with a deeper understanding on our spiritual path and guide us in this experience. I'd like to share some of my insight and messages that I've received through various intuitive thoughts, dreams, visions, foresight, and various channeled energies. Thank you for visiting my platform, and just know that I appreciate you all. Okay, let's dive into this. Before I get started with what I've been picking up intuitively and in meditations and channelings this week, let's touch base with some of the things that I talked about in my prior video. You may want to go back and check that out, but I talked about bells for marriage, births. I was picking up fertility a lot. Apparently fertility was in the news cycle during that week, related to the Democratic vice president nominee. There were several stories about that. There was death notifications as we had that downed yacht. Took somebody from Morgan Stanley, him and his wife, and I think it was a British tech, Mike Lynch, and his daughter. I believe 7 people lost their lives on that yacht. There was a downspout. There's some kind of investigation going on. In the personal lives, you may have heard about, I hope it was births and wedding announcements and things like that, but regrettably some of us heard about people that we were connected with in this life, or people that are in our inner circle that regrettably took their life. So we're in a huge mental crisis here, and I really do encourage people to reach out, because you never really know what somebody's going through. Things might look good on the surface, but internally they're not. Plus, with all the medications and everything out there, suicidal tendencies happens to be a side effect, a huge side effect now. So with that being said, I want to release all that energy. If you care to go back and look at the prior video, you might be able to tie some of it together. This week I was getting... Well, let's start off with the redwoods. I was picking up redwoods, and I was seeing a cathedral, like an ancient cathedral, almost buried in redwoods. Now, redwoods are considered in some cultures sacred living beings that act as guardians over sacred places. So I won't be surprised if we don't hear about some buried cities or religious artifacts are found or something like that. Remember, once again, that they can only use images that I am aware of or can interpret. And once again, that cathedral looked like it was empty and it was overgrown and very ancient. So could be ancient records. I'm getting that as well. Ancient records, religious records, could be that as well. And I did pick up Mother Mary actually yesterday in one of my meditations, and she was speaking to me of forgiveness. Not only she was speaking to me not only for the collective, but in my personal life as well. But the redwoods. Now, the redwoods I was picking up. Now, there are also a connection between heaven and earth. Some of them have likened the redwoods to the Bifrost Bridge, a link between earth and the divine. And they talk about this, that they bring balance and harmony. And I was picking up the healing powers as well of the redwoods and going through there. And once again, they're great for people who suffer through depression, and I have been picking that up a lot lately on the mental energy out there going on, mental dysfunction. But a lot of people just, I was really picking up the healing powers, very much so, because of depression and anxiety and things of that nature. I was also picking up like the kangaroo spirit, which is strength, agility, and independence, survival, distance. I was picking that up as well, but I didn't really get much more on that. And then I started getting imposter energy, like a mask falling off or somebody being exposed for being something other than who they are pretending to be. And then I started getting changeling energy. Changeling energy is actually swapping somebody out like a body double. In certain cultures, it was children that usually were kidnapped and then substituted with like a half fae or half, demigod and things of that nature. But I was getting changeling, like a switch out type energy, so that was interesting. And then I was picking up letting go and forgiveness and sacrifice, and that's when Mother Mary was coming in about sacrifice and about her side of what happened to her son Yeshua, and happened to witness that, and then happened to be persecuted and hunted down. She was talking about forgiveness, and she was talking also to me about the family line. So there was a lot of information there, but a lot of it was like I said, it really wasn't mainly for the collective, except for forgiveness. A lot of it was personal, but letting go and forgiveness was definitely for the collective energies out there. And then I started seeing bats. Now, bats strips a person, spiritually they can mean that they strip a person of an old limiting belief, a limiting personality, and enables them to step into a larger, wiser self. They're an invitation to think about what truths may be concealed in your life, which I find interesting. In many cultures, bats are viewed as a symbol of rebirth and regeneration. Bat symbolism can indicate that a hero is ready to transform and move forward. And we are in that energy now of hero energy and transformation and regeneration. And for the first time in a while, we're hopeful. Now, I don't want to squash that because, once again, I'm getting imposter and changeling energy, and we've got Pluto getting ready to dip back into Capricorn, and I think, what's that, September 1st, we got the retrograde ending, we've got that 6-planet lineup going on. We have Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. So we've got quite a bit going on for the end of August, and going into September, you're getting into your lunar eclipses and truths being revealed, and people that aren't being true are going to be exposed, and things of that nature. So I'm waiting for to see what I get further on that information. But I found it really interesting that I was getting the bats, and when I looked them up and said transform and the hero and ready and to move forward. And we've had quite a few people asking for forgiveness lately, and they're trying to transform and regenerate. We had Mark Zuckerberg come forward and admit that he did the bidding of the Biden and Harris administration, and at the request of some of the weaponized departments. So, little too late, possibly. But once again, I was getting the forgiveness, and there's transformation, and people are really trying to bring about change. They're actually seeing a failed system implode. So, any event, I started getting a scripture. Greater is He. So, if you look up John 4:14, you are of God, little children, and have overcome them, because greater is He that is in you than he that is in the world. Now, I get that quite often. That is one of the messages that I do receive a lot, that you know, we are a fractal of God. We are of the divine. And when things start to go wonky, I was given another, I had to look this up because I'll be honest with you, I do not have scripture memorized. There's only a few key ones I do, and I have not read the Bible from front to back. I am not an authority. I am, if you've heard interviews that I've done in the past, I have been born with a certain knowing and certainty all my life, and some things have been, you know, just altered. But in any event, some things haven't, so it's kind of mixed, and we have to do with what we have the best with. But I was getting birds flying, and birds as a bird flying, and I kept getting that. So I looked it up, and sure enough, it was in Isaiah 31 and 4 and 5. So it starts off, and this is something that we should hold on to, because things from September to November are going to get a little scary and dicey. And I want to give you this. For thus hath the Lord spoken unto me, like as a lion, and the young lion roaring on his prey. When a multitude of shepherds is called from against him, he will not be afraid of their voice, nor abase himself for the noise of them. So shall the Lord of hosts come down to fight for the Mount Zion and for the hill thereof. As a bird flying, so will the Lord of hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending also, he will deliver it, and passing over, he will preserve it. Now, I'm not sure why I keep getting the sacrifice and the letting go and the forgiveness, but I get that there are things that will be happening, and that we should know that he will preserve the covenant, whatever that means to you. So I got that, and then I trust my innate power and wisdom. I was getting that. But then, to summarize, I want to bring up that I did see the rune Gebo. And that is also a partnership. And partnership that is coming to you in some kind of form, and it's at hand. But they don't want you to collapse yourself into it. You want to retain your uniqueness, okay? You want to retain your uniqueness. And if it's a true partnership, it'll allow you sovereignty. It will allow you to be you, all right? Now, this counsel applies to all levels, meaning, you know, business, government, friendship, marriage, love relationships, any kind of relationship. It pertains to it all. The divine is in all things, the higher self, and God always enters into equal partnerships. It signifies the gift of freedom, which flows all other gifts. Now, if you look at what is happening on the world stage, you have a unity party and unity partnerships at hand now, which goes hand in hand with this room of partnerships. But you don't want to collapse yourself into it, meaning that you don't want to merge into one stereotype again. Each one of them have their unique strengths, and hopefully they will retain them, because that's what makes these partnerships important. Now, I got that, and I got the Gabo, I got that, got the Celts. The imposter energy is still bugging me. Self-realization, we've got the transformation, we've got the journey to self. I was also getting, I had to go over my notes, forgive me, but I was also getting letting go of judgment, yours and theirs. So it's a journey to self. So I was definitely getting the letting go and the forgiveness. So I do believe that from September through November, and I will be doing other videos and getting other things, but I definitely get that the energies are going to be a mix. And sometimes they might feel a little bit overwhelming. So I know that this one was a little bit disjointed, but I was getting the information a little bit disjointed this week, and I was being distracted quite a bit, which isn't difficult with me. But I did get a death notification, and it did bother me. So I was having just total disbelief on that, total disbelief. But in any event, I wanted to wish everybody well. I thank you so much for visiting my channel. If you're still here, God bless you. Likes would be appreciated, and subscribes if you're not already subscribed. But just remember, the truth, masks are going to slip. The letting go energy, the forgiveness energy, and that imposters are going to be exposed. And the changelings, the swap outs, or the body doubles, we've had a lot of revelations if you want to think about it on the world stage. They had to go back and revise all those jobs that they said, and they had to decrease it, that, million jobs downward. They just weren't truthful about it, and they had to go back and revise it. And then, you've got, the Texas. I had brought that up in my last video, too, about Texas. Texas has cleaned out almost 1 million voters, taking them off their voter rolls. And they've also, changed it where the driver's license, you can't change your sex anymore. There's been a lot of information. I said look to Texas for news, because they really are doing quite a bit over there in Texas. So I did kind of see that coming. But you've got a lot of states right now fighting for the right to clean up their voter registration. So this is going to be a really tense period. But if you bring it back into you and your higher self and live in the present, you should get through this pretty well. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead. Just remember the strength, agility, independence, stay sovereign, stay sovereign. And I think that is going to wrap it up for this week. I know it's a lot, but and disjointed, and I apologize for that. But like I said, I really got distracted. So I appreciate you all, and I will see you next time. Thank you.